Alright, so we are back with the 2004 Yamaha YFZ450. Previous video, we pretty much got it running. Let's see, I cleaned the carburetor. We found that the pilot jet was clogged because it only wanted to idle and run with the choke on. So that's a good indication that the carburetor needs to be cleaned. And then we also got the new ignition and we were able to crank it up and start it. And after the carb clean, it wanted to run good. The only thing is I could not drive it because the rear carrier bearing bolts for the swing arm were actually taken out from the previous owner. If you didn't watch the other video, apparently his brother or someone relative to him, they got into an argument or so, and I guess they took out his bolts for the swing arm and he couldn't really go ride it anymore. So I guess that was his kind of payback for whatever he did. But as you can see, that top bolt is missing as well as the bottom bolt there. And so pretty much the axle is probably twisted or pivoted. You can kind of gauge it by the lines here and the lines here. So what you want to do is when you got the bolts inside both of these, you want to get these lines up with the, you want to get both sides of the lines lined up with the same one. So if you're on the 1, 2, 3, 4 mark, you want to be on the 4th mark on this side as well, just so that the axle is straight and not twisted when you're riding it, because you'll definitely feel it. So I also still need to get a battery for this one. I just haven't gotten to ordering one up. But I do have a battery that we can put in there and just jump it, so we can just be able to test drive it around my yard here. But yeah, everything works on it. The oil is actually pretty clean. All the lights work. So these are the bolts I picked up. They are used from the same year quad. I just got it off eBay because it was a whole lot more cheaper than buying them new. And they are straight, they're not bent either. They got all the bolts and washers. So this should work fine. They're just a little bit rusted. You know, I can use some penetration like WD-40 or rust off to get all that rust off of them, and kind of use like a wire wheel to clean them up. So that's what I'm gonna do now before I throw them in the bike. I just want them cleaned up and, you know, rust free. I don't want them to seize up inside the carrier there. I could use some anti-seize, but I just don't have that on me right now. But for what I'm doing right now, it should be fine. So I'm gonna get them cleaned up and then go ahead and put them on. So this is the first one here. I'm just gonna take all the washers and nuts off. Spray them down with WD-40, because that's just what I have. Now it goes on super smooth. Before it was super notchy, like there was rust in between the threads, but now it just goes on very smoothly. So that worked out pretty good. I'm gonna do the same for the other one. So here's the one I pretty much just cleaned up compared to this one. As you can see, it's pretty rusted up. We're gonna clean this one up and see how it looks. Use a little bit of this freeze off. Should eat up the rust. Same for the nut. Spins on there super smooth now. Threads look pretty good. Oh, dry and rusted up like before. So it should get on there pretty nicely. This is what we're gonna do. So the rod goes in from the left side. And then you got the nut, then the washer. So we're just gonna
Finger tight that on. A little tricky. I'm just gonna finger tighten it, not hand tighten, or I'm just gonna hand tighten it so I can adjust it before tightening all the way down. But same for this one as well. Rod goes through the left end. All the way through. You kind of hear it bottom out. All right, so they're in. Let's see if I can get it adjusted here. Chain's pretty tight. I just want to back it up a little bit. So to adjust it, you're gonna back that nut out and then twist that screw so you can push essentially the carrier forward. So let's see. So you can see it's looser now. A little too much. That should be good there. And then, so we're at the 1, 2, 3, 4th mark. 1, 2, 3, almost the 4th mark. I gotta loosen this side up. Yeah, see, it's pushing that. About there. This is on the 4th mark as well. So I'm gonna tighten up this bigger bolt. Okay. Pull this one out. Tighten the bolt. Okay, so we're on 1, 2, 3, 4 on the left side, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the right side. Chain's good. All right, so I'm gonna tighten up the bolts for the rods I just put in. Okay. All the marks are still lined up. We got play in the chain. Before the bracket was so pushed out, not against the swing arm, so much that it was kind of rubbing against the brake rotor. But now it all works fine now, and you know, it's all tight, not loose like it was. The axle is actually pretty straight, so we're gonna go on this one. I don't have gear, like chain oil. I would lube up the chain, you know, grease it up, but I don't have that. I'm gonna go ahead and just move it back and forth. Yeah, so we're good there. Okay, so I lubed up with the chain with WD-40. I don't have chain oil, but we do have the bolts all in. As you can see there, top and bottom. We adjusted the chain, made sure the axle was straight. That's good. Chain's good. So that's good. That was the last thing that this quad needed, other than it needing a battery. I am gonna order one of those up. I just haven't gotten around to it. But the cheapest ones are on Amazon, so I'm just gonna order up a cheap battery from Amazon. You know, they work just the same. But yeah, we're gonna get this one started. I'm just gonna throw a battery in there, see if we can get it running again, and then take it around the yard, see how she runs. So let me hook up a battery, see if she starts right up. does run pretty good. You can hear the fan kicked on. It's a good sign. It's not overheating. The fan just kicked on, so we know that works. Starts right up. Yeah, fan just kicked off. So that's good. The fan is working, thermostat's working, the temp sensor is working. So all good there. I just need that battery. I am using an oversized one for now. That's just what I gotta get next, and the only thing that I need. The rear end does seem pretty tight, so we all know that's good. I don't have a big enough yard to open it up, and since this was left loose, it was still leaking. Hopefully it's not leaking anymore. I might have to put like a washer, copper washer on that, just so it doesn't seep out of there. But yeah, it's kind of smoking right there because it's leaking oil right there. But it's just because that bolt. Let me see if I can find a washer or something to clean that up. So I took that bolt off where it was leaking oil. And yeah, that washer was done. Let me see if I can get another washer to stop that from seeping out. It's not really like dripping out, it's just seeping. Let me see what I got. I mean, a washer, a little copper one. It's a lot thicker than the one that was on it. So I'm gonna place that in there. Huh. Kind of wants to stop right there. Looks like it wasn't even in all the way because the bolt's like too long. I don't want to strip it. That's the closest bolt I had to it. The washer does fit on there and it is tightening down, so that's gonna have to work. But next, what I want to do is power wash the whole quad, get it all cleaned up,